working? Yes? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. All right. Raise your hand if you've ever watched a video online and actually learned something useful. Okay. Everyone, right? Isn't that interesting that you can just go on your computer and learn something new? So I love film, right? I love movies, I love filmmaking. So last year I kind of wanted to ramp up my video editing skills, right? So I switched from iMovie to Adobe Premiere. Now, even though my friends taught me a lot of the skills I've learned for Adobe Premiere, the majority of the skills I've learned for the program are from YouTube. Literally watching beginner videos where people go through the process step by step is how I've come to learn how to use this program today. Knowledge is so easily dispersed in our world because it's on an online platform. I mean, the two magical words, how to, when typed into a search bar, can give you literally limitless opportunities to learn whatever you want. Now, if this was 30 years ago, you probably have to go to the library, find some books related to your topic, check them out, bring them home, realize they were all useless, bring them back to the library. It was a tedious process. But that's not necessarily the case anymore. Online education is the revolution we've been waiting for because it provides the means to solve many of the problems the current educational system imposes. My YouTube example is just a small fraction of the potential online learning has. There are numerous ways for us to take advantage and break the limits that restrict people from achieving higher quality education. And online education is one of the ways of doing that. It's by combining technology with learning to make education more affordable, accessible, and applicable. Now, one of the main goals of online education is to provide educational equality for everyone across the globe, to give everyone the opportunity to learn. But let me tell you where online education stands today. So I just finished applying for colleges, right? And when I was looking for what colleges I wanted to apply to, I looked at NYU. So I'm on the NYU website, I'm clicking around, I'm exploring, and I come across the tuition. $60,000. Multiply that by 4, $240,000 for your college education as an undergrad. And I was shocked when I saw this because my education has mostly been free thus far in my life. So why should it cost so much now? I mean, the average national student debt is about $30,000. And if you take a step outside of our little Silicon Valley bubble, the rest of America struggles with meeting these college tuition fees. And that's simply unfair. It's saying to have the best life, to have the best career, to get the best job, you basically need to be born well off. But it's difficult and impossible in many situations for someone born in a poor economic situation to really rise up, to get a good education, and to become healthy, or wealthy actually, not healthy. So I think it is egregious that people have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in tuition expenses for their college education. But you really gotta ask yourself, but what am I actually paying for? So let me give an example. UC Berkeley and Stanford are two of the top computer science schools in the nation, right? There's no doubt you're gonna get a good education from either of those, no doubt. But Stanford is $30,000 more expensive than UC Berkeley. And you gotta ask yourself, is it worth the $30,000 to go to one school over the other? Is it really that much better? I mean, at that point, if you're willing to pay the extra money, one can say you're just paying for the brand name at the point. Because in general, if someone said they went to a big name college, you probably think better of them. Whereas if someone went to a community college, perhaps that's not your first inclination. But that's what they paid for, and that's an unjust world, and we need to level the playing field. So this is where online education is giving a spark of hope. Now let me be clear. Online education does not replace college. If you have to choose between USC and the internet, it's not going to be a difficult decision. You're going to go to USC. But online education is slowly making its way into college curriculum. So Georgia Tech just created its first online Master of Science in Computer Science degree. Nearly 2,000 students pay less than $7,000 to be enrolled in this program per year, versus the $45,000 they have to pay if they want to be enrolled in a traditional computer science program at Georgia Tech. Now, through online courses and streamed videos and things like that, this program is being praised by students at Georgia Tech, teachers at Georgia Tech, and even the US president himself. That's Obama. Because it's providing higher quality education at a fraction of the cost. Now, you have people that are kind of doing what Georgia Tech is doing, which is kind of making online education go into college curriculums. And you also have companies in our area doing the same thing, actually. So Udacity is an online education company that actually played a major role in starting this degree. So alternatively, companies like Udacity are creating online courses in technological fields to provide their students with up-to-date skills, like programming. As a result, this allows their students to stay current in rapidly advancing fields without having to go back to school, without having to pay all this money. Now, One of Udacity's trademarks is the nano degree, right? It's the idea of getting kind of a small degree after you've completed a certain number of courses, right? So, for example, you can get a nano degree in Android development. Now, even though Udacity's nano degree is obviously no replacement for a traditional education or even Georgia Tech's OMS program, it shows how we are exceeding the limits of education by making it affordable, by giving people higher quality education, by having them only pay a couple $100s. But you know what? We're done with the present. Let's go into the future. Let's push this further. So, life expectancy is going to increase over the coming generations. And because of that, you're going to have to work longer. Sorry. But, and in our changing modern culture, most of us will probably have to obtain new jobs that may demand new skills. I mean, the average US job span today is about, what, 4.6 years long? And it's even less for technical jobs here in Silicon Valley. Most of us will have to acquire new skills to keep pace with the job market. Because here's the reality of it, guys. The world is changing faster than traditional education is evolving. Your college education probably can only do so much because you don't know where we're going to be 15 years from now. You don't know what skills you're going to need. You don't know what kind of jobs you're going to get. This is where online education comes in. So you have no idea what jobs you're going to get, right? So if you want to go to college to study Spanish literature, sure, college will probably provide you the best education in that because it's not going to really change. Nothing's going to change about Spanish literature. But college curriculums don't update quick enough to give their students, you know, business opportunities or current real estate skills or computer programming advancements. For that, you need the latest information. You need something that's applicable to our day and age. So, online education provides a feasible and efficient way for you to change your employment status. Plus, if you're a working father or mother, do you really have time to leave your family, go to school, come back, spend all that money? You don't. It's not going to happen. So this is where online education comes in. But going off of that, let's consider accessibility. So at Mountain View, what, your teacher maxes out at around 150 students maybe? But if you're an online educator, you don't have a limit. That's the beauty of online education. It's the idea of scale. It's the idea of, instead of having 30 students in a class, you now have 30,000 students in a class. So I was talking to one of the online educators at Udacity, right? He was saying, hey, Rohit, you should really check out my Android development course. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. So I go on the Udacity website, and I check it out, and I see how many students he has enrolled in this class. 120,000 students are enrolled in his one class. One teacher, one class, 120,000 students. Do you have any idea how hard it would be to fit 120,000 students in a real physical classroom? It would be so cramped. Attendance would be such a pain. My God, it would be horrible. It would just be so uncomfortable. I can't even imagine that. So, this is how online education comes in, because he, at Udacity, the online educator I'm talking about, is a prime example of showing how we can exceed the physical limits of education through this magnifying process, through scaling it. So, to kind of wrap up, online education is currently a complementary add-on to your skill set. It's kind of like adding pepperoni to your pizza. A fantastic decision, though, probably not so great on its own. But it has the chance to be so much more. Think about what this can happen to individuals who have never had a true education, but on their children's lives and their children's lives, and this beautiful domino effect this can have, and this can carry over generations. Because where you are born cannot be the determining factor for what education you receive. It simply cannot be left up to chance. Online education isn't just good for some people. It's good for everyone. Quality education in general is an ambitious goal that hasn't been achieved in humanity's entire existence, but is within our grasp today. Online education is good not just for the 99%, it's good for everyone. It's good for the 100%. And that's because talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. But with online education, opportunity really can be everywhere. Thanks, guys.